You good? All right. Hey everybody, thanks for joining us here at Book Blather, where we try to have a little fun while we talk about books of all types to help spread the joy of reading. If you're new here, I'm Dave, this is Olive, and we are back with another Halloween video. So, a few days ago, or a week ago, I don't know, I can't keep track anymore, but we recently posted a video where we talked about, in October we like to read specifically Halloween-themed books, right? Not just books that are horror, but books that are specifically about Halloween. And so the last couple of years, that's what we've done. We've read a number of short books that are Halloween-based each October. And so we recently just did a video where we went through all those and ranked them for you to give you some ideas if you were interested in doing the same thing this October. So we just did that ranked list of the Halloween books we've already read. Now what we're going to do is we're going to give you our Halloween TBR for this October in case you want to read along with us any of the books that we're going to be trying this year. We have some pretty interesting stuff lined up, at least in our view, right, Olive? So we will get into it. We are going to do pretty much what we did for Horror Mayhem this past May, where we're going to let you know in advance what we're going to be reading, and then each week we're going to read a relatively short Halloween book, and then we're going to be supplementing that. But this year, this month, the supplementation might be a little bit different than we did with Horror Mayhem. So let's get into it and show you what we're looking at. So the first thing, one of the things we're most excited about is this book, Johnny Halloween, Tales of the Dark Season by Norman Partridge. So what's special about this book is, there's a few things special about this. This book is, so this is by Cemetery Dance Publications, and this book came out, I think, let's see, what was it, 2010, yeah. And but it's got like 6 short stories, Halloween short stories in it, that were published over the course, I think, of the previous 2 decades in other multiple publications. So there's 6 Halloween-based stories here, but most importantly, the last one is called, let me check the name of it. It's called The Jack-O-Lantern, A Dark Harvest Tale. So if you saw our last video where we talked about our books that we had read in the past, our favorite Halloween-themed book that we've read to date is this one, Norman Partridge's Dark Harvest. This is a book that got a lot of accolades, and for good reason. That is a great, great Halloween book. And so what he did was, in here, this story, The Jack-O-Lantern, it's a follow-up story that he wrote, I think, a couple years later. And it's a Dark Harvest tale, so presumably takes place in that same mysterious town and probably with the same mysterious October Boy character, but we'll see. So we're pretty excited about this. This is an unusual book. I actually, as you can see here, I'll try to zoom in. It says signed limited edition, right? And so this book is signed by Norman Partridge, and you can see here it says is limited. This special signed edition is limited to 1,500 copies. Okay, now I know this is not the only edition. For example, I know there's another edition that is like a black covered edition that like comes in a box, really fancy, and that was limited to, I think, 52 copies, or I'm pretty sure it was 52 copies, but that was not a large run, and so. But I don't know if this book actually is only these like limited runs. I'm actually not sure what has happened with this book. What I do know is that if you are interested in reading this book, it's not going to be cheap to get. You can't just log on to Amazon and get like a current copy of this book. You can read the Kindle if you need to do it. There is a Kindle version if you need to do it inexpensively. But if you're looking for a hard copy of the book, you're going to pay. We got lucky, and I think we found this for like last year for like $25 or $30 on eBay, but you're usually going to pay more than that because it seems like whenever you see this, it is only like one of these special editions. So I think it might only exist in these special editions, but that's what we know about it. If you know anything else, let us know. So the next one that we're going to read is this. This is Mr. Glowbones by Ronald Kelly. And this we picked up because last year, I think it was last year, we had read another short story Halloween collection by Ronald Kelly called The Halloween Store. And we had fun with this, so we figured this is another one. This is another collection of Halloween stories. And Mr. Glowbones appeared in one of the title story of that previous book that we read, The Halloween Store. That story, when the kids went to a Halloween store, this Mr. Glowbones was there. And he was like a 5 foot tall, like jiggling, glow in the dark skeleton. I don't think he had any significance in that story from what I recall, but now he's showing up as the title story for this book. So anyway, interesting connection, and we, like I said, we had fun with that one, so we figured we'd pick this up. I think it's like, this is relatively recent, and I think it's got about 10, I don't know, 8, 9 short stories in it, and it looks like maybe an essay. And this was published in, this came out 2020. This was recent. But it's stories that have all been previously published in other publications. Okay, the next one we picked up is this. Another really short one. Although this is a unlike those two short story collections, this one's a novella. Halloween Fiend by C.V. Hunt. And so C.V. Hunt is runs this small press, Grindhouse Press, but C.V. Hunt herself has written many books, and this is one of them. And this just said we wanted to read something by C.V. Hunt, and this sounded interesting. This is about a quiet town, except that it's quiet, except that there's this creature. Is it what's the name? Referred to as Halloween, that shows up every night after sunset, looking for treats. And people just leave these treats out as an offering so they don't become like a target of this Halloween creature. But apparently on Halloween itself, there is a much more significant ritual that happens in this town. So that's all I know about it, but it sounded nice and Halloweeny, so we figured we would give that one a try. Okay. The next one is All Hallows Eve by Richard Lehman. And this is a pretty short novel, and this one was published. This was originally published back in '85, but this was republished in this edition in '94 by Headline. And so this is about there's a house that like a family had been brutally murdered, I think, in this house, and so it's been abandoned, like nobody's gone in it for years, and now suddenly everybody started getting invitations to a party there on All Hallows Eve. And of course everybody is taking it seriously because everybody wants to go party in a house of the dead on Halloween. So it sounds great. We tried a book by Lehman for the first time last year called Cuts. Had a good time with it, so we figured this would be another good one to try this Halloween season. And this is one that we had meant to get to we just didn't get to it. We meant to read it last year and just didn't get to it. And this is called This Is Halloween by James Moore. And this was published by Haverhill House, I think pretty recently, 2016, if I remember, 2016. And this is just 10, this is a collection of 10 short stories all about Halloween. That's basically all I know, and that it has this really awesome cover. So, this season, unlike Horror Mayhem, some of the books here that we're reading this October are short story collections. So, when we did Horror Mayhem, we supplemented with a couple short stories each week. We read the book and we did a couple short stories. So we thought we might do that this time, and in which case, we'll have to see how it goes. We'll read them out of this. Last time I called this book Halloween Dreams. It's actually called October Dreams. This is a old, very big compendium of a lot of, as it says here on the cover, celebration of Halloween. So it's a lot of Halloween stories by a lot of great, well-known horror writers. Dean Koontz, Poppy Z. Bright, Jack Ketchum. I mean, it's endless. I'll show you the back here if you want to pause it and see who some of these authors are. But Ray Bradbury, just a ton. And so, but because we are already reading a bunch of short stories, we were thinking we might not do that, and we might actually try to squeeze in a couple Halloween books. Everybody knows we're a bit slow, but we are feeling very ambitious this October. So we're going to actually try to squeeze in some novels that are not super long while we're reading these other books. And so one that we're kind of very excited about is The Mans by Lisa W. Cantrell. And so this is another one where we got lucky. This is a paperback for Hell. I recently was talking about the book Paperback from Hell, which talks about a lot of horror novels from the 70s and 80s. This is actually a Paperback from Hell that's in there. And this is I think, a pretty well-known book. We found this on eBay, and it was one of those ones we were just poking around like we do a lot of the time, and I think it was eBay. And we just saw it, and we saw it for with shipping, it was like $8. And so I couldn't tell, sometimes you can't tell on there if it's actually the old paperback or if it's like some new reprint, whatever. But I thought for $8, let me take a flyer, because I didn't know if it would reprint or somebody just didn't realize what they had, because this paperback is worth a lot more than $8. So we took a flyer on it, and turns out we lucked out, and it was the old paperback. Now, it is in pretty rough shape, as you can see, but there's even, I think they had called this like very good condition. As you can see, it even has like a little hole punched in it there. So certainly not very good condition, but still, we're very happy to have this. We were pretty excited to get this old hardback copy, paperback copy. And so this is, I don't know too much about this, but it's about this house that, is apparently becomes a house of horrors around Halloween time, vampires, ghost ghouls, all these creatures. But this is going to be the 13th annual House of Horrors, which is significant on this particular Halloween. And so I don't know what's going to happen to all the trick-or-treaters, but it sounds wonderfully creepy Halloween. So we're pretty excited to try this one. I think we're definitely going to read this October. We might start that pretty soon. And then the other one, which we're waiting on one more, another novel, which we don't have yet. So I'll put a picture of it up. And this is Hallows Eve. And this, I had recently talked about a book that we read last year called Horrorween by Al Sarantonio. And this one was actually a fix-up novel, but we had a great time with it. This is one of our favorite Halloween books that we've read so far. We really like the stories that were kind of melded together in this one. So there's 2 more books in this series. This takes place in a town called Orangefield, where all this Halloween-y stuff is going on. And we almost bought the next 2 books in the series, and read them last November, because we had such a good time with this. We decided to wait. We'd wait until this next October rolled around. And so we ordered this. We tracked down a used copy of Hallows Eve and ordered that, but we just don't have it yet. I think we won't have it for a few more days. So, but that's okay, because we're probably going to save that towards the end of the month. Make sure we have time for that. So, so that's our collection that's our TBR of Halloween books that we're planning to read this October. So if there are any of these that we don't have an order set yet, so if there are any of these that you have read and are particularly fond of that you think we should prioritize, tell us, and we will. More importantly, if any of you want to buddy read any of these books with us, tell us, and we will be happy to do that. We can be flexible schedule-wise, and we'd love to buddy read any of these with any of you that are watching. So that's about it for today. That's our Halloween TBR. Hope you all have some good stuff or lined up for Halloween and are getting excited for this Halloween season. Olive and I sure are, right? Well, I don't know. We're really excited this year, really motivated to read a lot of Halloween stuff. So, but anyway, if you have any comments, leave them below. We always love to hear from you, and even if you don't have anything substantive to say, Olive always loves to hear from you with a puppy emoji or a pumpkin emoji or whatever you want to leave her. So, thanks so much for watching. We'll see you again very soon. But in the meantime, take care of yourselves and each other, and we'll see you next time.